What's up, family? Man, woke up this morning and this message was on my heart. You know what I mean? This was on my heart, and this is a hard word. You know what I mean? This is a heavy word. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is. And man, I always wake up, man, God, what am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to share with the people today? You know, because I never want to just speak out of just speaking, if that makes sense. I never want to just get on and make a video just for the sake of making a video and it not have an impact, it not reach its intended target. You know what I mean? And man, I'm just a man. You know what I mean? But God knows all. You know, God knows who's gonna see it, when they're gonna see it, what's going on in their life at that particular moment, how it's gonna hit them, and whoop. God knows that, you know what I mean? And so I gotta be connected to God to be able to, okay, give me the word for today. Because the word yesterday or the word last week or the word a month ago may not be the word for today. So I need the word for today. And man, family, it's a heavy word. You know what I mean? It's a heavy word. When God calls you. When God calls you. You know, it's a trip because we spend the great majority of our lives trying to be like everybody else. We spend the great majority of our life trying to be accepted and embraced and loved and cherished by everybody else. And God has said, man, I didn't call you for this bullshit. You know what I mean? I didn't call you to be like Junebug over there. I didn't call you to be like P. Diddy, whatever his name is. I didn't call you to be like Jay-Z or any of these people. I didn't call you for this bullshit. They doing what they supposed to do. They here to be a fucking distraction. What the fuck are you doing? See, so often we get so caught up, we get so captivated by people of status. You know what I mean? We get captivated by people that we think are powerful and the movers and the shakers in the world. And we think, man, these people, I want to be like them. I want to be wealthy like them. I want to be rich like them. I want to be famous like them. And we think all this ignorant ass shit because we don't know any fucking better. And God has said, I didn't call you to be like everybody else. I called you to go through some shit. And because I called you, you're going to go through some shit. Because I put my stamp of approval on your life, you're going to go through some shit. Because I put my stamp of approval on your life, you're going to look like you've been rejected by the world. You're going to look like you've been hated. You're going to look like you ain't shit. You're going to look like your future is bleak and there's nothing good about your life. But I put my stamp on you. And when I put my stamp on you, can't no motherfucker on the planet take my stamp off of you. What has he said? Years ago, I was a single parent and I took my oldest son, took him camping to this men's retreat. And we're camping and we want to walk up this waterfall. And we're walking up this waterfall and I'm leading because whenever I have my kids with me, we're always going hiking somewhere. And there's always, great majority of the time, is always near some water. So we're walking up this little waterfall, right? And I'm leading, it's just me and my son, John. And I step on a rock and I twist my ankle. And I'm reach down and just, God dang, because the rock shifted, right? And it's like, man, my ankle's hurting. So I'm walking a little slower. And John's like, you all right, Dad? You all right? I'm like, I'm good. Let's go. We got to make it to the top. So I walk a little further, and we walk a little further. And I step on another rock. And this one shifted. And my knee buckled. And my knee was in agonizing pain, right? I let out a loud ass fucking scream because my shit was excruciating. You know what I mean? And so John's sitting there, he's like, man, Dad, you old, you know? He's laughing and teasing me, right? And it's like, man, this is what happens, you know? And so we walk a little further, and it's like, hold on, wait, no. I hear the Spirit, let John lead. Let John lead the way. It's time to step back and let him lead. You've led him his whole life. Let him lead. Let him navigate his way through this. Man, that's a message for some of you right there. Man, take your fucking hands off your kids. Take your mouth off these people. It's Stay with me. I'm going somewhere. And so we're walking and walking, and I told John, I can't go no further, John. There's this huge boulder, and we're like halfway up, and I can't go no more. And I'm like, John. And he comes back down, and he's like, what, man, what's up, Dad? And I was like, man, I can't go no further. He's like, oh, man. And I could tell the disappointment in his voice. You know what I mean? And that look in his eyes like, fuck, I want to go to the top. And it's like, man, John, I can't go, but you go. And he just looked at me. I said, man, go. I can't make it to the top. One of us got to make it to the top. We didn't come here not to make it to the top. One of us has to make it to the top to see what the top looks like. Man, I'm hurt. I can't go any further. My ankle, my knees messed up. Man, I'm going to sit right here and I'll wait for you. I'll wait right here for you, but you go all the way up. Remember how you got there. That way you know how to come right back down. After you get to the top, stand there, look around for a little bit, but come back down, and I'll be right here waiting on you. He was junior high school at the time. And so he's like, okay, are you sure, Dad? Are you sure? I'm like, yeah, man, I can't go. He's like, all right, Dad. And man, his face lit up. There's this glow that came to him, right? Because now he feels empowered. Now he feels like, man, I'm the man. You know what I mean? And so he goes up. And I'm sitting there, and as I'm sitting there, I'm praying. And I'm praying, God, I'm putting my son in your hands. God, keep your hands over my son. Protect my son. And I can hear God saying, who the fuck are you? And I'm like, hold up, wait a minute. You know what I mean? Time out. Man, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm praying protection over my son. I'm putting my son in your hands to keep him, protect him, bring him back down to me. And God is saying to me, Elijah, who the fuck do you think you are that you could put anybody in my fucking hands? Stay with me, I'm going somewhere. He said, Elijah, your son has always been in my hands. I've always been looking out for him. I've always protected him. You thought it was you. It was me looking out for him. It was me keeping him and protecting him and keeping harm from him. Don't ever get so fucking high and mighty you think you could put somebody in the palm of God's hand. And when he said that to me, it slapped the dog shit on me. When he said that to me, it hit me deep and hard. And I was like, oh shit, damn. Because I never thought about that in that capacity. Because I've been taught, man, just pray and put your kids up under the protection of God. Pray over your kids so that God can protect them. Pray over your kids so that God will look out for them. Pray over your kids so that the enemy can't get them. Pray over your kids so that God will nurture them and keep them and protect them and whoop. Because that's the bullshit they told us. And what God had to tell me is like, hold on, wait a minute. I know that's the bullshit they told you. I know that's the bullshit you grew up under thinking. But who the fuck do they think they are? That's their fucking arrogance. That's their fucking ignorance. You can't put somebody in my fucking hand. You can't pull somebody out of my fucking hands. This is what God was telling me. Who I call, who I choose. Who the fuck do you think you are? You could pluck them out my hands. If I chose them, if I called them, if I ordained them and stamped my hands of approval on them, who the fuck do you think you are that you could reject that? Who the fuck do you think you are that you could say, man, no, they're not called by God. No, they're not chosen by God. They're not ordained by God. Who the fuck do you think you are? And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh shit. And so what God is telling many of us today is, who the fuck do you think you are? Why are you trying to be like these raggedy motherfuckers? I know they went to Harvard. I know they went to Yale and Princeton and all these Ivy League schools and these big powerhouse schools. And they got all these education, all these credentials, all this money and wealth. But that's all they fucking got. You want to be like them, but all they have is their money. All they have is their fucking prestige from this fucking school. They ain't got me. They ain't got my stamp of approval on their life. They got wealth and they got connections with man, but that's all they fucking got. And because you don't know who the fuck you are, you think they're so much more powerful than you. You think they're so much more influential than you. And so you're trying to do everything like them. You want to be accepted by them. But let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I call the foolish shit. I call the crazy shit. I call the broken and the twisted and the down and out, the downtrodden. I call the people off the hood, the people off the projects, the brother off the street, the sister off the pen, the dude out the fucking dumpster because he's dumpster diving, the drug addict, the alcoholic, the hoe. I call people like that. I choose the people that the world would reject. I choose the people that ain't got the fucking education, that don't have the word matriculation, that don't have the degrees and the pedigree that society says makes you pure and upright and outstanding and a great citizen and all this other bullshit. I don't call them motherfuckers because they don't think they need me. I don't choose and deal with them motherfuckers because they so high and mighty. They sit upright and man, I'm so influential and I'm so powerful and all it takes is for me to pick up the phone call and I have 50,000 people on standby just waiting for this news broadcast, just waiting for me to announce this, just waiting for me to announce that. Man, I got all these millions of people following me on social media. I got all these people waiting for my album to drop. All these people waiting for my movie to drop. And I don't give a fuck about that bullshit. You motherfuckers are distracted with the foolish shit. I chose you. I called you. I ordained you. I allowed you to go through all the bullshit you went through. Why? So that when I elevate you, people will be like, God damn, how the fuck could you be used by God? How the hell did you pick yourself up? You spent all that time in the fucking pen. You spent all that time on the fucking streets. You spent all that time on dope. And while I was getting an education, while I was doing da-da-da-da and doing da-da-da-da, your ass was out there slanging pussy. Your ass was out there slanging dick. Your ass was out there slanging rocks and all this other bullshit. But now your motherfucking ass is right next to me. Now you got this fucking power. You got this influence. Why? Because it's not God, it's not man given. It's God ordained. It's God sanctioned. And so now this ex-drug addict, this ex-homie, this ex-jerk, this ex-gangbanger, whatever, can walk into a boardroom, any fucking boardroom, and with their head held high and not give a damn about who's all there, not be impressed and moved and intimidated by the rest of these motherfuckers up here. This motherfucker that raised 5 kids, struggled with 5 baby daddies, and all this other bullshit. When God get done touching them, when God get done messing with their life and getting them straight, now they gonna walk their head with their head held high, CEO of their own fucking company. And they ain't got the fucking quote-unquote education from Harvard and Yale and Princeton, but they know business. They understand business. They understand accounting. They understand law, business law, and all that other stuff. They didn't need the fucking degrees from the fucking schools. They didn't need the professor's stamp of approval. They didn't need the dean's praise and all this other bullshit. Why? Because all they needed was the stamp of God. All they needed was the approval of God. And so many of us, we sitting there like, man, woe is me, and my life is not fair, and why did I have to be born in this family, and why did my dad have to be a drug addict, and why did my dad have to reject me and leave us, and why did my mom have to be a hoe and a crackhead, and all this other bullshit we spew because we don't understand we're not connected to God, and we can't see how God is using these circumstances to build us up. God is using these circumstances to give us character. God is using these circumstances to lift our spirits up so that we can become empowered. Once we know who we are. We're not intimidated, impressed with all the fucking money you got. Once we know who we are, we don't give a fuck what your address is, what penthouse you stay at, how many houses we don't give a fuck about that shit. Why? Because we know that we were called to be healers. We know we were called to be light workers. We know we were called to help people out of their darkness. See, we were called to give the blind sight. We were called, all those people that felt voiceless, all those people that felt like they didn't have the power. They didn't have the political power, the political connection, or whatever the case may be. Nobody listened to them. Nobody gave a fuck about what they thought about. Nobody gave a fuck about the hood. Nobody gave a fuck about the streets and the projects and the ghetto and the broken down areas. But now, this motherfucker from the hood, from the ghetto, from the broken down suburbs, from the trailer park, man, this motherfucker stands with his head held high, and he's a voice, and he's empowering the people to speak their voice, to understand that they have power. And their power has nothing to do with their money or how little money they have. The power has nothing to do with fucking quote unquote school education. See, because some of us, those that have been called by God, those that have been chosen by God, those that God has stamped his hand of approval on, man, they've gone to school. They just didn't go to a fucking college. They just didn't go to university. They went to the school of hard fucking knocks. Their school was their fucking prison system. Their school was the fucking streets. Their school was this fucked up, raggedy ass fucking relationship they were on. Their school was working for somebody that didn't give a fuck about them, that didn't appreciate what they were doing and their efforts. And so they started their own fucking business. See, we have to understand that, man, because we don't live like everybody else. We don't live like all those rich and successful people. Man, who says they're successful? We say they're successful because they got all this money. We say this because the media is always following. And man, look at their lifestyle. Man, they got maids and they got butlers and chauffeurs and cooks and all these other things, all these other people working for them, and executive assistants and all this other bullshit. The lifestyles of the rich and famous and the broken and down and out. We want to be like that too. We want that shit too. Why? Because we don't know that we've been called. We don't understand that God has called us. God has chosen us to wake the world up and say, stop being distracted with this bullshit. It's great that these motherfuckers can sing. It's great that they're great actors and entertainers and all this other bullshit. But what the fuck does that got to do with me? What the fuck does that got to do with my life? That's not why I'm here. And some of us, we get on social media. We start our own platforms. We get on TikTok and YouTube and other things. And we want to be recognized. We want people. We're hoping that one of these motherfuckers, power to be recognized. One of these people see our stuff and they like it. One of these people say something about our video or say something about this or that they recognize that they see me. We want our 15 minutes of fame. We want the hookup. And God, I didn't call you for this bullshit. I didn't choose you for this bullshit. I chose you so you could wake the people up. I chose you so you can help the people heal from their fucking baggage and their fucking pain. All these rich motherfuckers going through shit too. All these rich motherfuckers getting divorced too. All these rich motherfuckers getting their heart broke too. All these rich motherfuckers are drug addicts and alcoholics and hoes and everything else too. They need fucking healing. But because they got all this fucking money, all this fucking power, we don't see their brokenness. We don't see their pain and suffering. And God is saying, I don't give a fuck about their money. I don't give a fuck about their status. They need healing. They need to resolve some fucking emotional, psychological shit too. You trying to be like them. What? You want to be fucked up just like them too? You want to be twisted just like them too? I sent you here to heal them. I sent you here to be a beacon of light, to show them there's a better fucking way. I sent you here to show humanity there's a better way of fucking living. There's a healthier way of fucking living. And it ain't got shit to do with how much money you have. Because rich people die of cancer too. Rich people overdose too. Rich people commit suicide too. You trying to be just like them. I didn't tell you to be like them. I didn't call you to be like them. I didn't choose you to be like them. I chose you to be a difference, to be a, how can I say this? A way maker. What am I saying? I chose you to come into this fucking world and let your light shine. Come into this world and just be transparent and open. But you so fucked up in your shit, you ain't dealing with your fucking shit. You intimidated. You ain't dealing with your shit. You scared as fuck of being transparent because they gonna bring up your past. This young lady, I was in the Air Force. I was a staff sergeant. And this young lady worked for me, Natasha. And I was telling her I was going to school because I wanted to be this counselor, marriage family therapist, right? And she's like, who's going to listen to you? You've been married and divorced. You're a single parent. And what makes you qualified? And all this other bullshit she was spewing. And it fucking hit me hard because this was a sister, a black woman. And it's like, damn, why the fuck we always tearing each other down? Why the fuck we always trying to kill somebody else's fucking dream? Stay with me. I'm going somewhere. And so I'm listening to the shit she's saying. And it hit me like a fucking 1-ton rock, right? Just out. And I started questioning myself. And then I had to snap out, hold on, wait a fucking minute. Wait a motherfucking minute. No. I'm not buying into this bullshit. I'm going to be a great counselor. Why? Not because the fucking school tells me I'm a great counselor. I'm going to be a great counselor because of my fucking experiences, because of the shit I've gone through, and because I've dealt with my shit, and because I've gotten connected with God, and I understand my fucking purpose, and I don't need the approval of man. I don't need your raggedy ass opinion or approval to validate who the fuck I am. And the trip. I've spoken to people all over the world. I've made videos that's been seen in over 70 countries. I'm a life coach and a mentor. People actually pay me to hear my fucking advice. And it's not some shit that I learned in fucking school. It's not some shit that man gave me. This was God ordained. This was chosen by God. And it don't matter who don't agree with it. It don't matter who don't like it. There's going to be a whole lot of motherfuckers not like what you came here to do. Tell you, oh, you shouldn't do that. You're wasting your life. And you need to do this and this and that. And you need to go over here and da-da-da-da. And you need man's approval. And you need man's stamp of approval and a certificate from man. And you need da-da-da-da-da. And woo-doo-doo-doo for you to be valid, for you to be sanctioned. And God is saying bullshit. 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 When you look at all the people that God chose in the Bible, not one of them motherfuckers was educated in that regard, except for Luke, who was a doctor. He was one of the 12 disciples. But everybody else was just raggedy ass nobodies. But they became somebody. Let me say it again. When you look at the people that God used in the Bible, they were the fucking rejects. They were the nobodies. They were the cast out. Look at David. David was the son that was supposed to be king, but he's the youngest. Who's going to choose him? Nobody chose David. Nobody thought David had a fucking chance. When you look at Jesus, who the fuck is that? That he should heal the sick. He should raise the dead. He should walk on water. He should feed the thousands with fish and bread and whoop-de-whoop. He's just a carpenter's son. That's all that he was to them was, oh, that's that carpenter's son. That ain't nobody. He ain't got the fucking pedigree. He didn't study with such and such and such. He didn't go to this fucking school over here. He ain't never sat in our fucking classes. He ain't never graduated from our fucking school. Who the fuck is he? And that's what fucked them up. They couldn't comprehend. How can he know so much? How can he be so powerful when he speaks? How can he stop the fucking weather and change the storm and calm the storm? How can he speak life to this dead situation? Because he was God ordained. He was God chosen. He was chosen by God. Just like you. Just like you. You went through all the shit you went through. Because there's so many other people going through that shit. There's going to be so many other people that's going to go through that shit. And they need somebody that's been there, done that. They need to hear from somebody that's been strung out on the same shit they were strung out on. They need to hear from somebody that was banging and going hard to this shit just like they was. To know that, man, if God can use this person, and look at how they've changed the world. Look at all the lives that they've changed. Look at how their life has been drastically changed. Look at all the people that they're helping. If God can do this for them, then he could do it for me. This person has been suicide. They tried to commit suicide a number of times. And if they can get their shit straight, if they can fix their life, if they can stop hating themselves and learn to love themselves, then just maybe I can learn to love myself. If this person has been molested this many times, and they get their shit straight and they stop doing this wild, stupid shit and tearing themselves down, then maybe I can stop doing that to me. Maybe I can learn to love me. Why? Because that's a role model. They empowered me. They inspired me. They motivate me. I don't have to keep living like this. I don't have to keep thinking like this. I can be used of God. I can be anointed and chosen by God. In fact, damn, I am. And see, why I question that so much is, who the fuck am I that God would choose me? Why would God choose me and my daddy rejected me? Why would God choose me and all these motherfucking raggedy ass women rejected me? Why would God choose me and my own family don't fuck with me? Because God sees something that they don't see. God is fucking all-knowing. And God has chosen you. Because he sees your heart. God has chosen you because he sees the impact that you're going to leave on the world. God has chosen you He sees how you are. He sees how you will become and how you will end. He sees all of that at the same time. And he understands, he knows that you needed this. This is part of your testimony. These are the doors. This is what's going to open up doors for you. Because you were an ex-criminal. Because you were an ex-convict. Because you was an ex-prostitute. Because you was an ex-drug addict. An ex-wino. These things that you thought was crippling you. These things that you thought had you fucked up because you were raped, you were violated, and you were mistreated and abused emotionally, and blah, 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 and all this other shit. God is going to take that and flip it. And what caused you so much fucking pain will become your greatest testimony. What caused you so much fucking agony will become your gift to humanity. It hurts now. I get it. I've been there. I've been there. Once you get in alignment with God, he'll heal that and flip that shit. That will be your key to open up doors. The shit that everybody laughed at you about, you've been homeless, you've been rejected, and you've been a failure at this and failure. That's what's going to be your keys to help humanity. To be a beacon of hope, a beacon of love. You are chosen. You have been chosen. You have been ordained, and you have the stamp of God on your life. I'm just confirming it for you. Because you thought you did, but you wasn't sure. Because you couldn't believe that God would use you. You couldn't understand why God would use you. Now you know. Now you know. I love you guys. Happy healing. Peace.